Last year, I had a very interesting volunteer job at a seal sanctuary, and as you guys remember, may not remember or know, is I got fired from that job around a year ago today. Wow, it's been a long time. So today's video is going to be speaking about my experience, what it was like working with seals, first time working around people, with people, and I'll be honest in this video if I miss it or not. So enjoy this video today. It's been a while since we've spoken about a job or anything of my previous volunteer work. Now, as you guys know, about a year and a half ago I've graduated from school, and I thought, hey, I'm gonna focus on YouTube for this year and a half, 2 years, full time. But in the meantime, I would love to develop some personal things as well, like social things, also work. And I actually did volunteer before I volunteered for the seal sanctuary. I volunteered at the dierenbescherming, which is basically just animal protection. I never got a response back from them. I waited 2 months. I was like, well, that's great. I had no response back from them. I think they probably weren't sure for my qualifications for the job, which, yeah, it's what it is. At the end of the day, am I glad that they didn't hire me? Yes and no, because the one downside is traveling wasn't really the greatest destination. It was in an industry area, so not really much to do there. And also, two is they were all old people, and I've come to the conclusion, I found out that I'm not really that good with old people and the patients. Maybe there's something in the neighborhood potentially for me to do, and there was seal sanctuary, and I volunteered there. I think the first time I went there was probably via email or real life, I can't seem to remember, and I started around October, November, I think November, December, and my shifts were once a week volunteer. And you're probably wondering, why would anybody want to volunteer for work? Well, in this case, full-time job, so full-time income as well. So I was like, hey, it's not about money, making good money. I don't have to stress about money. And I was like, I didn't want to mainly focus on working just because of earnings. I wanted to, because I want to go to this type of world. I want to become a park ranger, probably like later, for you guys wondering. And I want to build up experiences with nature, environment, and what it's like being in a situation with a animal or animals, which was very interesting for you guys wondering. From somebody who has never had a job, because I have never had a job, never paid job. And you're probably wondering, wow, how come you've never had a job? Well, when I was about 14, I always started to hustle at school. I also sold stuff at school. Not drugs for you wondering, but like candy and cigarettes. I sold cigarettes at school because a lot of people smoked. And I was like, hey, if I make my own cigs, sell it for people, then I'll make a little bit of cash. I didn't make a lot of money, but made a couple of euros, I suppose. I was like, hey, I'm 14. I can't get a job. You can only get a job here when you're like 15 and like 16 in the supermarket. So I was like, hey, let's try this YouTube thing. And yeah, it's been my full-time job since, well, it's been a full-time income since 16. Let me be very honest with you guys. I thought, hey, I graduated from school 2020. I wanted to volunteer and gain some experience with work. And I did. My shifts were once a week, average. Alright, so I used to wake up at a Sunday. Yeah, don't fucking ask me why a goddamn Sunday. Out of all the days I chose, Sunday was probably the worst. I should have probably chosen for Fridays, but I didn't want to. I just didn't care. I was like, alright, I'll do Sunday. It was very cool, the introduction and getting taught things that I was like, oh, I've never seen this, I didn't know these things were a thing. And it surprisingly opened my eyes a lot on how work works. Basically, the people there in general were very cool. Obviously I made a video before I got fired from it that I quit my job, or wanted to quit my job, because of the fact that I was not enjoying it. Because I freaking completely was not enjoying what I was doing. It wasn't that I wasn't enjoying with the animals. I was loving the work with the animals. Do not get it wrong. I really did love working with the seals, and till this day, yeah, I'm really disappointed that I'm no longer welcome there. But I've obviously got to admit, what I did was my own fault. Own stupid mistake. Not even a mistake. I knew what the consequences could potentially be. My parents had warned me. Those videos, those 2 videos, the tour of my work, what I did. I made these videos without any form of consent of the company / people around me. Even though I showed nobody in the videos, I mentioned nobody's name negatively or any form. It simply wasn't allowed, and it stood in the contract as well. And it's actually the same type of thing for when you work for a job. 99.9% of the time, when you sign a contract, it states in that you can't speak negatively about individual, people, or a company slash business on social media. See, the thing is with my dad, I know this is really weird, the manager there is pretty chill. He lets me record whenever I'm there. I haven't been there in like 3 months. I might pop over in about 2 weeks, but I'm at my place in about a week and a half. He lets me record inside. You know, he doesn't mind as long as I don't record anyone's faces or mention anyone's name. That's obviously awesome. You know, most places don't even allow you to record. But yeah, I messed up myself. I will be honest. And I think what hit me the most was the realization, like, fuck. You know, if you're wondering how I got fired, well, I basically was sitting in the bathtub. It was around 5 o'clock. I was listening to some music. My dad WhatsApp me, you know. My dad does it sometimes, you know, fucking random times. He's asked me, you know, can you feed the cats? I'm like, okay, for sure. I get a message from my dad. I'm like, okay, this is a long... I thought it was a business email, a proposal from a company from YouTube, because my dad often screenshots me email businesses, you know, through WhatsApp, you know, because I can't access the thing. What is that behind the wall? I don't know what it is. That is so odd. What is this? Is this a sticker? God damn it, my little sister, look at this. Oh my god, my little sister put a sticker on the wall. Sorry. Yeah, disappointing news came to me that I am no longer welcome. Now the thing is, I technically wasn't fired, but I think it's the best word to use because of the fact that I hadn't signed the contract. I was about to sign the contract. I gave myself a 2-week thought of, okay, I want to really think deeply if I want to do this permanently, because I was in a learning phase for 4 months. You know, as weird as it sounds, you normally get like a month or two to get fully introduced, fucking old dude on the bicycle, to a company. Same with my dad, you know, he's got a full-time job right now. He's liking it, I suppose. I've got no clue, man. I don't really ask him if he likes it because it's really none of my business. Look at the sticker, by the way. This might be the thumbnail. But I messed up myself, you know. I did like the learning, and that's something that, I'll be honest, I didn't wake up every Sunday thinking, oh yes, I got work. I actually fucking hated waking up on a Sunday at 6:30. Yeah, the worst times, you know. The people that I work with in the beginning, I think what made it so awkward was the fact that I didn't explain to them who I was, what I did for a living. And I think probably that's what the biggest surprise was for them when I made those 2 videos, is the fact I didn't tell them who I was. And you know, I'm a pretty private person in real life. I am. I don't really like speaking to people in real life. I'm not a very open person. I'm honest in real life, but I'm just not very open about my private life in real life. I like to throw stuff on the internet, not all stuff, certain things, because you know, it's entertaining, it's interesting for you guys. But I hadn't told them anything about me personally, you know. They only knew my freaking name and where I come from, and that's fucking literally it. My age, my name, nothing else. They didn't know, you know, if I did this, if I went to school. I didn't answer those questions because I was like, yeah, it's none of your business, no offense, but I'm just doing this for the fun, the thrill of it, and because of the learning process. Will I ever work with people? I prefer not to, because if this is what the real world is like, I'm like, okay, fuck that, no thank you very much. I prefer to work alone. And that's the thing with like being a social media influencer, is the world that I live in is different than the real world. What I do is a virtual world. It's not, unfortunately, reality. You will find out eventually, and that is the same with me. For somebody who, the first time doing something in you know, job-wise, it's different than making videos. Like, you know, the job that I did was not easy. No, it was mentally and physically fucking heavy. I liked it though, do not get it wrong. I, matter of fact, loved working on my own the most. I would want to say when they taught me more things, like, you know, this and that, the more I got to be independent, the more I got to know, the more I started to work alone, which is something I didn't ask that, but I prefer to work alone. It's not like it disappointed me or made me upset if I had to work with somebody, not at all, but I was like, fuck, I prefer to work alone, no offense, you know. I could do my time, you don't have to tell me what to do, nobody bitches in my ears, you know. The experiment was cool for when it lasted. I think I was at the place for 4 or 5 months, maybe less, I could be. Yeah, it does suck that I'm no longer welcome there, but I knew the consequences. And I feel like when people say, oh, you know, they lost somebody, no, they fucking didn't. They can just get somebody new if they want to. But let's be honest, I feel like a lot of people nowadays won't want to do volunteer work because of, it doesn't pay. That's the biggest thing. People want money nowadays. And for me, I don't mind doing something I don't have to get paid for necessarily. Is it nice to get paid? Yes, it's like a reward. It makes kind of a lot of sense. But sometimes it's more important gaining the experience than receiving any form of income. And that's why I chose the job. I wanted to learn with animals. I wanted to know and prosper what it was like feeling work as fucking work. I can't imagine doing that work till this day, every single day getting paid. Fucking no way I would do that, man. I would not do this stuff 5-6 days a week, even if I got paid, man. Mentally, alright, this and that, physically. And no offense, I think after a while, doing the same thing gets boring. I can't imagine, and I've got no clue how people go to the same job for years, 10, 20, 30, 40 years. How do y'all do that, man? What motivates you to keep saying, yeah, I want to keep doing this job? I've got no clue, man. But even if I got paid, I wouldn't want to do that as a full-time job because honestly, it was getting boring after a while. Because I wasn't learning any new things. I got all the things taught already that they had taught me in the beginning. A lot of things they also taught me that I was like, you can get fucking angry at me, what you want, woman, but you guys didn't teach me this. You guys didn't tell me that it was supposed to be like this. That's what I mentioned in the video before I got fired. I quit my job. How disappointed I was when that individual told it in front of my face that I might as well stop while I'm at it. I'm like, alright, I don't give a fuck, I can just quit if I wanna. And that's the thing you have to realize, reality is reality, man. Maybe I have to harden up. Yeah, fun fact, interesting fact, when I'm back at my place, I want to try and see if I can find a job, as weird as it fucking sounds, the YouTube still pays me good. But I want to gain some experience. I want to know what it's like working instead of being the boss, getting bossed around or working for one. I don't feel like it's necessarily a bad thing. A lot of people say nowadays, oh fuck, 9-to-5 job is bad. Who the fuck says that? Yeah, some might be bad, but not all 9-to-5 jobs are necessarily bad. I feel like it's such a dumb thing when people say, especially ones that have never worked a 9-to-5 job or don't work a 9-to-5 job. We have no experience of what we're saying. For those that are saying this, for myself as a creator, I apologize for those who have a 9-to-5 jobs that get offended because I understand. When people say that a 9-to-5 job is bad, bullshit, man. A lot of people choose a 9-to-5 job because you're getting paid every month. You're certain of getting paid almost every month. It's a certainty. A lot of people work it, and because, you can pay your basics off. You don't need to be your own boss. There's a lot of good things of being your own boss and also a lot of downside. If you are sick, you gotta have to get paid, continue. You got insurance for that as well. And look at my hair, by the way. But yeah, I do miss it sometimes. Oh yeah, I do. I do miss the place sometimes. But at the end of the day, it's like, hey, fuck it. It is what it is. I can't really do much about it. I really just can't, man, unfortunately. Yeah, that's really it, man. Hope y'all doing well. Hope y'all enjoyed this video. And this is a year later. Different Keegan. I must agree, I need to find something job-wise sooner or later for experience because most of the times during the day I feel really inactive and bored and useless in society, if that makes any sense. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. Peace out.